Hi everyone, it's the Liberal Activist here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something DGX team kind of pointed me in the direction of, and that is a program called Housing First that they're doing in Finland, which I think we should definitely take to the United States. We should take to New York City. We should take it to New Jersey and implement this program. What Housing First is the way we're doing things now is we're basically saying that a person who's homeless has to prove that they're looking for a job, get off substance abuse. There's all these preconditions. They have to prove they're reliable before we give them access to housing. And only once they've met the preconditions are they given access to housing. With Housing First, the roles are reversed. The person is given access to housing because it's believed that the stress of not knowing where you're going to sleep tonight, the exhaustion of being homeless, is what actually is leading to the substance abuse, is leading to the person, not having themselves together because it's just so much stress being out there on the streets. And think about it for a second. How stressful would it be if you had no idea where you're going to sleep tonight? No clue where you're going to sleep every night. And with Housing First, we get people into homes first. Then we hook them up with a social worker. We try to get them a job. But you start to see the problems of substance abuse and the stress that had been preventing them from getting a job before. You start to see a lot of those melt away after a person has a place where they can shower, where they can sleep, and all those stressful issues are gone. It's also less expensive in the long run because the crimes people get involved in, the assaults, the robbery, all these things, because they're living in a life where they don't have access to resources, um, those drop way down. And it was shown in Finland that they actually saved $15,000 a year in euros by saying, you know what, there's no preconditions. We're going to get you a place to stay. We're going to link you up with a social worker and then get you a job. And we started to see a more permanent solution to homelessness than people just staying at these temporary night shelters and then being back out on the street. It saves the taxpayers money and it gets people permanently out of the condition of homelessness. About 4 out of 5 of the people who entered the Housing First program were not homeless anymore. They had a permanent solution to their housing problem. They had a place to stay. They were able to find work, clean themselves up, and have a real productive life. So that's why we should implement Housing First here. It's the stress of being homeless that's causing the substance abuse, that's causing the people to not be able to get themselves in a condition to not clean themselves up, to be exhausted from the stress where they're not able to find the jobs. If we implement Housing First and say no more preconditions, those problems will start to melt away. Most of them will. And we can use a social worker to work with them on finding a job and a more permanent solution. It has worked in Finland. Finland is the only country where homelessness is dropping. And so we should implement it here in New York City. We should implement it here in New Jersey and then try to implement it throughout the rest of the country. It would not only really improve the quality of life for these people permanently, but it would save a lot of money on the emergency rooms, on the assault, the robberies, and the batteries that come as a residual effect from poverty and homelessness. Thank you.